Welcome into this live MTOM show podcast taping. I'm Paul Yeager at the Iowa State Fair. Jeff French, regular market analyst with us. How you doing, Jeff?
Excellent. How are you, Paul?
Well, we're dry. I can't say everybody else is dry here today.
As I get dripped on right now.
Yeah, as I say, I think there was a drop that just came down right as we recorded. We are at the Iowa Pork Producers. We call it a tent, but it's anything but a tent. This is a brand new structure, second year of it here, and you had not seen it in person, had you?
No, I haven't. It looks excellent, and it smells delicious.
Oh, it always does. We are in the area, if you're familiar with the Iowa State Fair, this is where all the politicians would cook when they would do their photo opportunities, photo ops as we call it, or celebrities. They'd come up and grill right here, but they did some renovations, and now this is patio space. Inside, people are able to hear us, and we have a live audience that we're going to kind of see. They can kind of hear, but really this is a chance to just do something we haven't done. We're getting ready for 50 years of Market to Market. We're kicking off here next week, Jeff. I guess I'll start by asking, what's your first Market to Market memory?
You know, I just remember it was always on in our house, but I mean, if you one specific, and I don't know exactly, I mean, it's probably 10 or 12 years old, but just Virgil Robinson. I just remember hearing his voice, and it's just a voice that you don't, and his analysis, it's just something that you don't forget.
Well, as I was looking just a minute ago, I swear I saw a guy who looked like Virgil Robinson, and if it is Virgil, come on in, Virgil, because it sure looks like him, and I just don't know. It is a guy who looks a lot like him, but it's not. But you know, that's the fun thing at the fair. I've already done that to myself twice this week, doing that. It's a chance to see old friends. So Virgil's one of those people. How you came to be on Market to Market was, I won't say an accident, but it was just a health diagnosis, really, right?
Well, I mean, I was with Top Third Ag Marketing before starting Ag Hedger, and I think there was a scheduling conflict where my previous boss couldn't be on the show, so I was the next up, and I think that was now 4 or 5 years ago.
Oh, longer than that. We've had you a lot longer than that already. Gosh, time flies.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, Mark Gold called me one day. I can say his name. Mark said, I got this guy, young guy, handsome, looks like he could just be straight off TV. You're going to love him. So I was waiting for a handsome guy to show up. What happened to him?
I don't know who that guy is, yeah.
But you spent time in Illinois, spent time in Chicago, worked basically the shadow of the Board of Trade. There weren't traders. There were traders when you started there, but they've gone away. What were your impressions of working in Chicago, let's not talk about anything else, but working in Chicago, did it match what you thought trading commodities was going to be like?
So when I got down there, I think it was 2006, 2007, it was kind of the first part of the electronic trading just was getting going. And I was interviewing, I got licensed and I interviewed for about 6 to 8 months, and there was opportunities to go on the floor, but I knew guys that were working down there that said, you know, the writing's kind of on the wall. I mean, the volume is starting to disappear, but you know, Chicago during that time, that is definitely the hub of commodities, no question, in the world. Now with the electronics and internet, you are able to be outside of Chicago, and you know, with Zoom and everything, it's an instantaneous market.
You were able to move back into Iowa, a Johnston native. What's it like now being back there on the family farm?
Well, I'm very happy to be back. I mean, it took about 5 years of convincing to get my wife to move back, but we've been back now going on 3 years, and couldn't be happier. You know, Chicago's a great place, but I have 3 young kids, and in my opinion, Iowa's a great place to raise a family.
And this is a spot where you can get a sense of exactly what's happening in the cornfields, the bean fields, the hog pen, the cattle barn, whatever it is. You don't have to go very far to find someone knee deep in what it is that you're doing.
No, and actually I was in a soybean field yesterday. I had friends coming in through Sturgis. They were from Idaho. They got to do some work around here, but he'd never been in a soybean field. Never seen a soybean in his life. So we walked some beans there yesterday and just explaining the process. The crops look excellent.
Yeah.
At least in western Iowa, it's some of the best crops that we've seen in a long, long time.
I've had conversations here at the fair, been here most days, and I just talked to someone who told me, I won't say the area because I don't want to give it away completely, but one crop estimate, 300 is going to be pretty easy. Are you hearing that?
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be fields that can do that, and I think you will hear 90 to 100 bushel beans. I mean, look at this weather in August. I mean, this is not normal. We're getting rain, and the high temperature, I think, today was 71 or 72 degrees. I mean, this is just not normal weather for August, especially during the fair. I mean, it's usually 95 degrees this week.
You really wanted it to be 95, didn't you?
I'm glad it is not.
You'll take the rain. We'll take all the
Absolutely.
rain. I do thank the pork producers for finding us a spot here that is out of the rain. It is fun to get a chance to see people when they already make a commitment to come to the fair. They don't know if it's going to be dry or wet, and they're trudging through it right now.
Well, and especially if you've driven 2 or 3 hours to come to the fair, you're going to go no matter what the weather is.
And I take a drink of water. The crops don't need much of a drink of water right now. Is this crop made? Did it need any rain?
You know, I think some of the beans could use some of the rain down in southwest Iowa. There's reports, I mean, locally on our farm, we got about 7/10, which we'll welcome. But all on purposes, I mean, we got a big crop coming. The question is how big. We did have the USDA report today. You know, the U.S. government thinks it's a record-breaking crop out there from a national yield standpoint.
Well, we have estimates that are happening all the time, and we're going to continue to get those. We always take questions, Jeff, on the TV show through Market Plus, and I know sometimes you're like, oh, what are they going to ask me now? We're taking some in person, and Dale in LeClaire, Iowa, Eastern Iowa. Dale's actually watching us right over here to the side. I had a chance to talk to Dale and his family, and hopefully they can hear it. See, they're all excited. The grandkids are excited now. I'm going to start. We'll enjoy it. Dale's question is, corn or soybeans, which one will have the best chance for a post-harvest rally?
Well, I think if you look at after the report today, and the headline today will be the bean acreage. The harvested acres, they added 1 million more acres of beans into the harvested acres, and then they increased the yield. So it was kind of a double negative on the bean report. So personally, I think the beans have the most downside here. And then you had the corn. They reduced corn acres, harvested acres, by 700,000. They did increase the yield, so that was kind of a wash. But you know, you had the corn make a new life of contract low down here at 390, reverse and close above Friday's high of 399. We actually closed it at 401.5. From a technical standpoint, that's a key reversal higher. So that's a good start. I want to see some follow through, but I think the beans right now, for what we know, potentially have the more downside here.
This is not specific to Dale, but I'm sure that there are people who have some old crops still. Is it smarter? This was a question posed to me over the weekend. Is it smarter to sell the bin, empty the bin, and refill it with this cheap corn, or just keep what you have there, save that expense, wait for the next rainy day when the price might go up, and just sell everything that's going to come in here in a month or two?
Well, you know, we're sitting here down at 3-4 year lows for prices. So I don't like to be selling at lows, but I mean, if you have to make a choice and sell the corn, I would just advise you to get some re-ownership back on paper. I mean, the upside doesn't look good, but you know, perception can change very quickly in these markets. And you have a big short position with the funds. And I mean, if they have to cover 250, 300,000 contracts, that's probably good for a 40 or 60 cent move. In this market, that would be an excellent marketing opportunity, in my opinion.
The question that came up and will continue to come up is, how long do we stay with numbers that start with 3 and numbers that start with 9? You already mentioned we've had that reversal at this taping, which we know things can change, back above 4, but we know that that's just kind of always flirting out there. How long are we stuck in this?
You know, we're going to have to see, but we have a good crop coming, and harvest is fast approaching. What's going to be the biggest influence of does $3 corn last or $9 beans will be what happens here during the winter when South America goes to plant their crop.
Right.
So if they have a good crop, an average crop, then it could prolong, you know, these lower prices. But I think, you know, we had a very good 2.5-3 year bull market. We've obviously come off of that. So I think, you know, we're in this time here, but the next 6 to 8 months will tell us if this could last over a year, in my opinion.
That's a long way to hold, and that's a long thing that people are going to have to to maybe duck as long as they can, but we're coming off of a good couple of years here. Maybe some people are going to be withstand it, but it's going to be a lot of pencil sharpening, I'm guessing here.
Well, fortunately, we're going to have the bushels. I mean, we don't have the price, but if you look at the crops now and what the government's telling us, I mean, we should have very good yields. So, I mean, we can grow us out of it. You can market out of it. You could have marketed this crop, a year ago at much higher prices. But at least we're going to have the bushels. We'll see what happens here in the next 6 to 8 months.
We got people walking by behind us. We're just off of Grand Avenue. We can see the Sky Glider, I think, behind us here. Let's talk about the people who are eating pork. What is the outlook for that industry right now? I know you were just on a couple of weeks ago with Ross Baldwin. You both get a chance to have those back and forths. Outlook here near term for pork. And I know you're in a tough audience here.
Well, I mean, but we all know, we look at these markets, and it's a very well-defined 5-month downtrend. I mean, that's just what it is. And you can say more numbers, heavier animals, but I think it's, we're into 12 months of Prop 12. And the realization of how that affects the market. We're kind of in uncharted territory and waters when it comes to that. So our consumers, are they changing their demand? I mean, with what's available in California. So I think that all processes in. But it's a well-defined downtrend, and it's a market that needs more demand.
As folks come in, they're getting a chance to have a product that is grown here in this state, and they're hardworking. They're all hoping that they can, again, just withstand some certain things. I mean, what's the hog producer to do here long term then?
Well, the one benefit is you got corn prices and meal prices down here at 4-year lows.
What do we call that, a buying opportunity?
That is absolutely. I mean, that's what we're telling our clients, lock some of this stuff in, get some upside protection for, potentially higher prices come. But, if you look at the demand, I mean, it's been solid. I mean, we could use some more export demand. The exports are off, 8 to 9%. But that is a market that we could gain some territory. So, we're getting close to the bottom here, I think, but we need that October to probably test that 71 cents, in my opinion.
Buying opportunity, testing lower. I'm not hearing a lot of good things, but I'm hearing optimism, which is what we're always supposed to have here, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, let's get into some fair talk. We'll come back to agriculture in a minute. State Fair, first, I mean, you grew up in this area, so do you have memories of being dropped off at 9 in the morning and not picked up until midnight? Is that the way your parents operated?
No.
Did you get one day a year to come?
No, my dad and I, we loved touring the machinery, touring the equipment. I think we still have the cattle chutes, working chutes that we bought from the fair probably 25 years ago. So yeah, I remember walking around, seeing all the animals. It's just a great time. It's a great family time, fun environment, and we look forward to coming every year, absolutely.
And we appreciate meeting families. I see Dale's family's getting ready to head out, but we appreciate them thank you for asking the question. Nice meeting all of you. Thank you so much as we continue to have some people cycle through here and get a chance to talk. Now you come through a different lens as the guy who has got to open up the wallet. So now is it the family all tries one thing? Or does everybody get their own thing and you just kind of swap? What's the French way, family?
My son, he's 11, and he is a roller coaster ride. I mean, he loves it.
Okay.
So he plans to hit everything at least once, and then whatever his favorites are. But we were too late to get the unlimited ride package, so at least we can limit it to see how far. But yeah, everybody's looking forward to it, and it's great to be here.
It's good time. It's a good time to come out. We're going to do this again later. By the time you see this, we already have done that other recording, but we're going to do other 50th anniversary things. You talked about Virgil Robinson as a thing coming onto the show. Do you feel pressure when you come on, or you feel relaxed?
Oh, I feel a lot of pressure.
Why? I'm pretty easy to talk to.
I think it's just, I grew up watching it with my family, and it's just surreal that I get to be on the show. I mean, I can tell you, the first time I came in from Chicago. I stayed at my brother's house on his couch, and I'm not joking, I don't think I slept more than 40 minutes that night. I was extremely nervous. And I still get nervous, but it's gotten better over the years. But yeah, it's definitely a big deal, and it's just the weight of it. I mean, everybody in the industry watches this show, and I'm very happy to be on.
We appreciate when you come in, and a little secret behind the scenes, Jeff is one of those local ones. You're the snow guy. You're the one, if it snows and nobody can come in from Wisconsin or Illinois or Florida, hey Jeff, we had to call you this year to come in, and but then we went and bailed in that show. We couldn't even get us to get in there, let alone you.
Yeah, well, that's one benefit of being 15 minutes away from the studio. So keep asking me back. Thank you.
Here's the thing too, we get them out of baling hay sometimes, right? Didn't you get out of baling hay once?
No, we have other people that can do it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You're supposed to say that it was a big deal. I'm sorry, my brother, my family, I just can't. I got to do the show. That's work calls.
Absolutely.
When you have this family operation of agriculture, do you feel that being involved has more involved again? I mean, you had that time where it was just farther being away. Do you feel like you're more attached and each decision weighs on you more?
Well, I mean, I'm not, my dad's still heavily involved. So he, like most farmers, they don't want to give up too much control too quickly. So, but yeah, I'm there to do whatever I can to make the operation better. And I'm glad. I hope we can continue. I got 2 other brothers that are very interested in growing the operation. We feel the benefit firsthand, and we know, we all have kids ourselves, so we're working for the next generation as well.
Do you feel that you make decisions differently in your day job versus what you see in the non-day job?
I can, I mean, it's, when it's your corn, your beans, you can get a little more emotional about that, but you got to separate that because you got to make decisions on dollars and cents and what makes more money for the operation.
Do you get that weight then when you call a producer and say, this is a good price, I think you should sell, and they're holding out for a certain thing? You now have that, no, I think this is worth more. You have that emotion now locked in.
Well, yeah, and we know, the prices right now, they're not working. But they were working previously not too long ago. So when we can, write in a profit, lock in a profit, we're going to look to do that either with some cash sales or locking in the downside if what happened here the last couple of months does happen.
Yeah.
We want to be taking some money out as these markets move lower, and we can do that.
Is this the toughest time that you had right now in commodities trading?
No, I mean, we're 3 months, 4 months into, lower prices. We had 2015 through 2019, 4 years of a bear market. It's always the toughest, the first couple months, when you come off of that bull market. It always hits the hardest. And we have an expensive crop that's going in the ground. So, our break even is, I'm using generals, but $5 on corn, and cash is down here at $3.80. That doesn't make sense. I mean, you cannot make money in that. So, it's always the hardest when it's fresh, and right now it's definitely fresh.
Do you get the sense that there's enough memory of those times, or we've already forgotten those times?
Well, I think you got to look at, the cattle producer or the hog producer or the grain producer. I mean, the cattle producer definitely remembers it because in 2014 into 2015, I mean, that cattle market shed 40% of its value in less than a year. And we've shown some signs of topping here in this cattle market, and there's definitely some questions of just the general economy. Mm-hmm. So I think you got to look at it per producer. But, when you have big downslides like this, it perks up everybody's attention.
Do you think the producer has changed their view of how, knowing that, yes, 2014 and 15 can happen, 28 can happen, that they are already cautious enough and conservative enough on keeping back?
Well, I think you look at used machinery sales. I think that's one of the fastest indicators. So I think guys are tightening the belt. I mean, they have to because this is painful. But if you put a good South American crop on top of our crop, which we'll know here in the next 6 to 8 months, this thing could last longer. So. We're still advising downside protection at these levels because we can certainly go lower.
All right, Happy Jeff. You got anything else that can boost our spirits?
Well, I mean, again, I'll go back to at least we're going to have the bushels.
The bushels.
That will make up for some of this price decline. I expect a lot of our producers, especially in Iowa, could have many records on a lot of their farms, which is a great thing.
We're coming off of, the crop we were able to grow even in dry times. In the last couple of years, we've had these moments where we've barely made it through. I can think of last year's state fair, looking at all the lawn here, and it was all brown, and now it's a much better situation, and we're getting the grain, the rain on the grain that we need. Do you get the sense everybody's happier out here because of growing more, or is it still all about price?
Well, I think it's double-sided. I mean, they are happy that they have a good crop, but a lot of them have regrets of not selling it earlier. That's human nature.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't stop that. But the prospects, this industry is not going away. So we're going to put a crop in the ground next year, and we'll see what Mother Nature brings.
Another question has come in, and it is about chewing through. What's going to chew through all of this corn?
Well, the exports have been solid. So that's one. We had a flash sale of unknown here today. Unknown typically is China. We're starting our new marketing year here September 1st. Their sales are lagging, but they can make them up quickly. Ethanol industry, their margins are excellent. But we got, lower cattle on feed numbers, lower hog numbers from the last couple of years, but we have a 2 billion bushel carryout. And it might be, by the time it's all said and done, it could be 2.1 or 2.2. So you look back through history, you're in that 370 to 430 range historically when we have a carryout that way. So we just need to continue to grow demand. No question about it.
Question comes up every once in a while, so why don't we just grow less? Take some acres out of production.
Well, and that's where the saying, high prices cure high prices. And that's part of the market. It certainly will. It will take fringe corn acres out of it because you just can't make money, and guys are without the prospect of making money, they're not going to plant the crop. So I think we will definitely plant lower corn acres next year unless something drastically were to happen down in South America during the winter.
And it's always a gamble no matter what happens. You might lean into something one year saying, I'm going to grow more corn because there's going to be a need, but by the time you get to that time to harvest, things change.
Well, and if you look at this year from a rotation standpoint, this year was a heavier corn year.
Right.
So next year we are going to flop. I know guys do corn on corn on corn, but if you just do that 50-50 rotation, we will have less corn acres next year, and then, depending on the price, I would anticipate, some of the fringe states, they're going to plant drastically less corn.
All right, I have teased you long enough. I think it's time to let you go and have that food that you have been wanting, because it is tough to sit here when you start getting hungry. If you sit here long enough, you eat multiple times, right?
Well, and it just, as you get hungry, the smell is just better and better. It just smells delicious. So yeah.
You're a big fan. If you've ever followed Jeff on X at Ag Hedgers, there's an occasional picture of you grilling.
Yeah, I like to cook, no question about it.
What is your best way on the pork product? Are you a rib guy? Are you a pork chop guy? Are you a loin? Longtime smoker?
Number one, ribs, no question.
Okay.
Meat off the bone for me. But we do pork chops at least once a week, if not every other week. There's not too many pork products that I will say no to. We are a weekly, twice weekly bacon eater, absolutely.
Oh, well, yeah, I was going to say, I didn't even mention bacon.
So we are a big pork family, absolutely.
Appreciate it, and we appreciate the Iowa pork producers for hosting us here today. We found a dry spot. I guess the rain has finally stopped. I see smiles again. Everybody's just enjoying. I'm in long sleeves. Didn't think I'd actually be able to wear this without sweating. You're braving it in short sleeves. I got dumped on earlier today, so I kind of needed to warm back up.
Yeah, no, it's comfortable. I mean, it's not hot, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But very comfortable.
Yeah. So my thanks to the Iowa pork producers, Caroline Clark from Iowa PBS, Dave Miller for helping set this up. Kevin Hall has helped us out a ton here from Iowa Pork. Jeff French, thanks for making your trip and making us a part of your fair experience. Not everybody gets to come to the fair and give me 30 minutes on TV.
Paul, thank you for the invite, and I will come back anytime. Thank you very much.
We'll see him soon again on a future episode of Market to Market, which is a production of Iowa PBS. David Miller is our executive producer. I'm Paul Yeager, your host and editor. We'll see you next Tuesday when the next new episode comes, and it'll be from here at the Iowa State Fair, and it'll be Don Rose will be our guest. So we'll see you next time. Thank you, and bye-bye.